יום שישי, השעון כבר מראה צהריים, והשמש צועקת לקום, מתארגן, מתלבש מצחצח שיניים, לוקח תיק קטן, אני כמעט מוכן, היום הולכים לים. ברדיו כולתום נזכר שלא אכלתי כלום, אני חונה שנייה מגיע. בים שישי בצהריים, כל שבוע זה רק בירות מכות ושמיים, כולם זרוקים כאן על החול, ואת עוברת כמו בשיר, עם בגד ים זעיר, אולי הכי יפה בעיר. הראש קצת מסתובב, הלב מרגיש רעב, בירות שמש זה שילוב כואב. יום שישי, השעון כבר מראה בין 40, והשמש צוללת לאט, מתקפל ושוטף את החול ברגליים, ואת ממש ממול, מנסה להיות קצת קול, ואת הלב רק להרגיע. מתקרבת בחיוך, לחוץ מרגיש חשוף, סליחה לאן אתה מגיע. בים שישי בצהריים, כל שבוע זה רק בירות מכות ושמיים, כולם זרוקים כאן על החול, ואת עוברת כמו בשיר, עם בגד ים זעיר, אולי הכי יפה בעיר. הראש קצת מסתובב, הלב מרגיש רעב, בירות שמש זה שילוב כואב. ים שישי בצהריים, כל שבוע זה רק בירות מכות ושמיים, כולם זרוקים שם בים. שישי בצהריים, כל שבוע זה רק בירות מכות ושמיים, כולם זרוקים כאן על החול, ואת עוברת כמו בשיר, עם בגד ים זעיר, אולי הכי יפה בעיר. הראש קצת מסתובב, הלב מרגיש רעב, בירות שמש זה שילוב כואב. ושנינו במכונית, אני ביישן את חייכנית, וזה בדיוק מה שאת אוהבת.
אושר מתקרב, הצלחת להתגנב, אור שלא עוזב, הוא מתגלה בחושך, בכל קצוות תבל, מי שהוא מסתכל, אומר תודה לאל, על אהבת אמת, איך שאת רוקדת, גם הלב שלי רוקד איתנו. מים רבים לא יכבו את האש שלנו, לא. ואת יחפה, אדמה רועדת, איך אחרי כל השנים הרגשתי שייך, בת מהמדבר כמו סופה נודדת, כשחיפשתי את עצמי מצאתי אותה. רוצה להתמכר לטוב שמתגבר, אם הלב אומר בטח שהוא יודע, תכף נתעורר לניגון אחר, לא צריך יותר, יש עוד מסע שלם. איך שאת רוקדת גם הכוכבים רוקדים איתנו. מים רבים לא יכבו את האש שלנו.
בואי נרוץ רחוק, תני לי רק כמה דקות להיזכר במקומות שאז היינו ילדים. לא פחדנו סתם לחיות, בלי המינוס הצרות, בלי לתלות את התקוות, כמו כביסה על חבלים, כמו איזה שני משוגעים בחוף. שמרנו רגעים בלב, שתינו את הנוף, ואת היית יפה כמו פרח שאסור היה לקטוף. רציתי רק לקטוף אותך, רציתי לקטוף, כמו איזה שני משוגעים בחוף. שמרנו רגעים בלב, שתינו את הנוף, ואת היית יפה כמו פרח שאסור היה לקטוף. רציתי רק לקטוף אותך, רציתי לקטוף, כמו איזה שני משוגעים. רחוק ברגליים יחפות מזיכרונות ואכזבות שאז רצינו לשחרר. כמעט ויתרנו על עצמנו, נברח רחוק מהשגרה, כמו אז שהסתפקנו באושר הפשוט, כמו איזה שני משוגעים בחוף. שמרנו רגעים בלב, שתינו את הנוף, ואת היית יפה כמו פרח שאסור היה לקטוף. רציתי רק לקטוף אותך, רציתי לקטוף, כמו איזה שני משוגעים בחוף. שמרנו רגעים בלב, שתינו את הנוף, ואת היית יפה כמו פרח שאסור היה לקטוף. רציתי רק לקטוף אותך, רציתי לקטוף, כמו איזה שני משוגעים. כמו איזה שני משוגעים בחוף. שמרנו רגעים בלב, שתינו את הנוף, ואת היית יפה כמו פרח שאסור היה לקטוף. רציתי רק לקטוף אותך, רציתי לקטוף, כמו איזה שני משוגעים.
חיכית לי ואני תמיד חיכיתי לך, והנה היום הזה הגיע. עכשיו מבטיח שאף פעם לא תהי לבד, ואם פתאום תעלמי אחכה כל הלילה ואלחש בתפילה שאליי תחזרי. ואם תבואי אליי נשאר כל הלילה ואלחש לך מילים שתדעי שאני שלך, ובבוקר תראי נשאר ביחד, הולכים את הדרך הזו לתמיד יד ביד. ואם תבואי אליי נשאר כל הלילה ואלחש לך מילים שתדעי שאני שלך, ובבוקר תראי נשאר ביחד, הולכים את הדרך הזו לתמיד יד ביד. עכשיו הגיע הרגע, הרי חיכית לי ואני תמיד חיכיתי לך, והנה היום הזה הגיע. עכשיו מבטיח שאף פעם לא תהי לבד, ואם פתאום תעלמי אחכה כל הלילה ואלחש בתפילה שאליי תחזרי. ואם תבואי אליי נשאר כל הלילה ואלחש לך מילים שתדעי שאני שלך, ובבוקר תראי נשאר ביחד, הולכים את הדרך הזו לתמיד יד ביד. ואם תבואי אליי נשאר כל הלילה ואלחש לך מילים שתדעי שאני שלך, ובבוקר תראי נשאר ביחד, הולכים את הדרך הזו לתמיד יד ביד. ואם תבואי אליי נשאר כל הלילה ואלחש לך מילים שתדעי שאני שלך, ובבוקר תראי נשאר ביחד, הולכים את הדרך הזו לתמיד יד ביד. ואם תבואי אליי נשאר כל הלילה ואלחש לך מילים שתדעי שאני שלך.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your virtual seats. This evening's Jewish National Fund USA Tree of Life virtual gala honoring Josh Solomon will commence in 2 minutes.
יום שישי, השעון כבר מראה צהריים, והשמש צועקת לקום, מתארגן, מתלבש מצחצח שיניים, לוקח תיק קטן, אני כמעט מוכן, היום הולכים לים. ברדיו קולטום נזכר שלא אכלתי כלום, אני חונה שנייה מגיע. בים שישי בצהריים, כל שבוע זה רק בירות מכות ושמיים, כולם זרוקים כאן על החול ואת עוברת כמו בשיר, עם בגד ים זעיר, אולי הכי יפה בעיר. הראש קצת מסתובב, הלב מרגיש רעב, בירות שמש זה שילוב כואב.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jewish National Fund USA's Tree of Life virtual gala honoring Josh Solomon. Please welcome Jewish National Fund USA's National Treasurer and this evening's chair, Michael Blank.
Good evening. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to our New England Tree of Life event honoring Josh Solomon. Although we are coming together in the virtual world, I can imagine sitting right next to you, surrounded by the sounds of mingling and chatter. We look forward to the days ahead sometime soon when we can once again gather in person. For those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Michael Blank, and I serve as the National Treasurer of Jewish National Fund USA, and previously had the pleasure to serve as the New England Chairperson of the Board Emeritus. I am delighted to be your MC tonight, and I once again welcome each of you to our virtual event. I want to start by acknowledging the recent challenging times in Israel and the importance of supporting the work Jewish National Fund is doing on the ground, both in times of crisis and in peace. Our past efforts are making a difference, keeping people safe today and tomorrow. Before we begin, I would like to thank the generous supporters of this evening's sponsors. Your support is very much appreciated. Many people do not realize that Jewish National Fund USA is an organization led by volunteer lay leaders like myself. As a JNF volunteer, you don't just invest your philanthropic dollars, you also invest your time and energy in creating a better future for the people and land of Israel. This past year, many of us felt as though time had stood still. But at Jewish National Fund USA, we certainly didn't keep still at all. I am proud to report that we have continued to keep our promise to the land and people of Israel to be with them every day through times of prosperity and times of crisis, always with our eye on building a brighter future. It is our collective responsibility to make sure we are doing all we can to enhance our connection to Israel, to stay engaged, and to feel inspired by our actions. Now, will you please join us in the singing of Israel's national anthem, Hatikva. I hope you will enjoy our evening together celebrating Josh and his impactful philanthropy.
When we are doubted, we excel. When people say it can't be done, we do the impossible. When we are surrounded by hatred, we choose love. It began as a dream that one day the Jewish people will again have a home. That vision became a reality. This is Israel. This is Zionism. This is Jewish National Fund USA. It's time to write the next chapter in the Zionist story. Travel the country and you'll see it's happening. A renaissance in the desert. coexistence in the Galilee. Synagogues, mosques, and churches, ancient traditions in a modern land. Diversity. Inclusion. Employment. This is Israel. This is Zionism. This is Jewish National Fund USA. Zionism is starting a new community on barren desert plains. It's growing vegetables where there's no rain. It's solving environmental problems, and it's sharing our expertise with the world. Nothing is easy. Things don't always go our way. When we are attacked, we come back stronger. Whether the world is with us or against us, we remember who we are, and we teach it to our children. Whatever challenges come our way, Zionism ensures that we are never alone. When we remember that we always have each other, nothing can stand in our way. Let's build a better world together.
As the chair of this special Tree of Life event honoring Josh Solomon, I'd like to take this opportunity to share more of the Jewish National Fund USA magic with each of you. Nothing brings me more joy than to gather here tonight with all of you who share my appreciation and admiration for both Josh and the state of Israel. Especially these days, it's heartwarming and comforting to be together in love and support for Israel, even if only virtually. Jewish National Fund USA is not an emergency organization, but we are there on the ground in Israel 24/7 and hard at work building a nation. For decades, we have invested heavily in strengthening Israel's frontiers, those same frontiers that we all watched suffering from ongoing missile attacks a few weeks ago. The Negev and the Galilee, the Gaza envelope, and the northern villages bordering with Lebanon. We built resilience centers, secure indoor playgrounds, medical centers. We invest in water reservoirs and water recycling, and we have supplied hundreds of bomb shelters for Israeli citizens who live on the Gaza border. This past month, those bomb shelters were necessary and so critically important. We are bringing music, culture, entertainment, and the culinary arts to the frontiers of Israel, including the Galilee Culinary Institute in the north. We are about to put Israel on the food map with a vision to make Israel the food capital of the world. Also in the Galilee, we've just opened the Louder Employment Center in Akko. Our goal is to attract 300,000 new residents to move to the beautiful north. With both of these landmarks, we will provide opportunities in employment, education, and tourism in the north of Israel. We are encouraging people to move to the south, where residents are discovering the beauty and attraction of the desert, with its open space and peace of mind. Our visionary $350 million World Zionist Village in Beersheba will add to the unprecedented momentum taking place there. The area is making strides with tourism, growth, and a quality of life flourishing, and this infuses us with confidence for the future. This innovative village will promote Zionist education and serve as an expansion for a very successful Alexander Must High School in Israel. These initiatives do not even begin to scratch the surface of what we do in Israel. The scale and depth of our efforts reach far and wide. We are building tomorrow's Israel today, so it may thrive for generations and generations to come. Israel, as we clearly witnessed these past few weeks, faces substantial hardships. Israel is strong, and its existence is a treasure we must never take for granted. Since the founding of JNF in 1901 and JNF USA in 1926, and for 73 years since Israel became a sovereign state once again, we know better than to place all our trust in faith alone. Israel may be a startup nation, but it still needs engaged and proactive champions, as much now as it ever has. Moral support from American Jews and non-Jews alike give Israel profound emotional strength. I do not think the impact of this support can be understated. It counters the unrelenting venom, slander, and false news so prevalent in today's media and social media. Israel is in a tough neighborhood, focused on survival, and always striving to be a safe haven to the best of its ability. During these perilous times, our hope is for Israeli society to be unified and living in peace, and may the nation forever remain well protected. Jewish National Fund USA is your voice in Israel, stronger than ever, and we continue to raise significant funds. Today, I am asking each and every one of you to join me. Join us and help support the life-changing, generation-shaping work of JNF USA. Join me and make your impact felt. We appreciate all your meaningful donations, and every gift matters. This month matters even more because of events we witnessed these past few weeks. It's the least we can do to support our family in Israel. We come together as Israel supporters to ensure the physical, spiritual, and economic safety of our people. For those of you who sponsored this event or have made a generous gift, we genuinely thank you. We invest your money wisely and transparently. Your generosity will make dreams come to life and the resources to power those visions. Most of you with us today have made meaningful gifts and generously sponsored this event. On behalf of our sisters and brothers in Israel, I say to you, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We are grateful for your support and welcome you to the JNF family. If you have yet to contribute, please consider joining us. Together, collectively, we can make a huge impact. You may make a meaningful donation one of three ways now. 1, via text or email. 2, please click on the link you are about to receive. Or 3, go to jnf.org/donate TOL New England. Our goal for today is 100% participation. Please be generous and be part of our JNF USA family. Toda rabah. Thank you very much. And now, let's celebrate Josh.
Yeah.
Hello, Josh. Hello, all the JNF members. Here we are, Team Israel in Arizona. The team behind me, getting ready for the Olympics. It's a great honor to be with you on this evening, to be with you at the Tree of Life award ceremony. I'm very happy that the JNF is bestowing this really great gift to you. Josh, you did a lot for Team Israel. We're really happy to be with you. We'll be seeing you on July 13th and 14th in Hartford, Connecticut for those 2 games. The team is behind you. The team is supportive of you. We'll be together in July, and we look forward to going to Tokyo and to the Olympics. Thank you very much, and Mazal Tov for the prize and for all the good work. Jordy Alter is our president over here of the IAB. Maybe he'd like to come over and say a few words.
Thank you. Hi, Jordy Alter, president of the Israel Association of Baseball. Josh, just wanted to wish you Mazal Tov on this wonderful honor that you've earned over your life, supporting all causes in Israel for the JNF, and particularly Project Baseball, which has helped us start to develop fields in Israel, which we're currently doing. We appreciate your continued support, and for the Olympic team, which is practicing here as well, and help lead us on to a gold medal, which will bring us so much respect, in Israel and in the baseball world. Thank you, and Mazal Tov, Josh.
Josh, from an old goat to a yard goat, congratulations on the JNF Tree of Life Award. Your philanthropic efforts have been monumental, but not only in the Jewish community, but also in the community of Hartford. You've really hit the ball out of the ballpark on this one. Thank you, from Jerry Wine.
Hey Josh, congratulations on receiving your JNF Tree of Life Award. Thank you very much for all your support in Team Israel Baseball. We'll see you in Connecticut. Mazal Tov. Thank you again.
Josh, when they called me and told me about this award, I could not have thought of a better person to win it. It's hard to believe that we've been here 5 years, and the direction and the insight that you've given with giving back to the community, being involved in the community, being more than baseball, using the ballpark as a hook to get kids involved in our after-school programs. And everything we do is all because of you and your insight, your guidance, and your leadership. So congratulations, Josh. You hit it out of the park.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nancy, Joe, and Mia Solomon to the virtual stage.
Josh, congratulations. We are so proud of you for the work that you do, the way that you do it, and the person you are. You are passionate and committed to family, to Judaism, and to doing the right thing. One of the pillars of Judaism that Josh especially relates to is Tikkun Olam, and he has taught our children that it is not simply nice to give back, but it is our obligation to give back. Josh has always embodied this. And as life got busy with 4 young kids and careers, Josh still found the time to go that extra step. And rather than scaling down on volunteering, often he would simply just bring the whole family along. And I can't tell you how many times when we were the only ones with kids at events, and he would say, "It's fine, it's important." I am amazed by the way he continues to increase his capacity to give of himself to organizations he is passionate about. And once he is committed, he is all in. 15 years ago, when Josh heard the average age of a homeless person in Massachusetts was 8 years old, he felt compelled to get involved with Heading Home, where he still serves on the board today. And let me say, he's been all in. As a matter of fact, the only time I have ever seen Josh scrub floors, baseboards, and toilets is on Heading Home moves, when he is helping to clean and prep the home for the family to move in. When Josh and his siblings became owners of the Yard Goats baseball team, he took it on not just through the lens of a business person, but rather through the lens of a good person. Josh was committed to be known equally for baseball and community involvement. In 2019, the team was awarded Minor League's Community Service Award for outstanding and ongoing commitment to service, Josh's most coveted award until tonight. Josh has found ways to thread his Jewish ideals in with his love of baseball. I remember when we visited Peter Kurtz at the Tel Aviv baseball field. Josh had followed Team Israel's run in the 2017 Baseball World Cup and saw the pride in Israel and the connection it formed with sports enthusiasts throughout the U.S. He took special pride to find out that Jerry Weinstein, who managed that team, was also the manager of the Yard Goats. And he'd take greater pride still in seeing all of you out there supporting Team Israel July 14th and 15th at Dunkin' Donuts Park. Josh, you've come a long way from reminiscing about picking apricots on a kibbutz during your teen trip to Israel. Your love of and connection to Israel has continued to grow. Reading Daniel Silva's whole collection of books, binge-watching Fauda, and drooling over Mike Solomonov's showcasing of Israeli cuisine has kept Israel close during the pandemic. And although he can't travel to support Team Israel in Japan, we are all looking forward to the inspiring stories that have yet to unfold with their run at the Tokyo Olympics. Above all, you support your Jewish ideals in the way that you carry yourself every day. The biblical Joshua, your namesake, has been called a force to be reckoned with, and so are you. We love you, and keep up this important work.
Congratulations, Dad. I'm so proud of you. I know this is so important to you. Love you.
Congratulations, Dad. I'm really, really proud of you, and I love you.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Newman, Josh's mom, and I could not be prouder today. As the youngest child of refugees from Poland who fled the pogroms, I'm a first-generation American. And the birth of the state of Israel was a moment that I will never forget. I was 8 years old. My father called on the phone. My mom dropped the phone, started screaming. My father came home from work. There was a huge, huge party that night with dancing and singing. And I remember it as one of the high points of my early life. And needless to say, my parents imparted in me and my brothers a love of the state of Israel, which I cannot tell you how proud I am that it has passed along to Josh and that he has expressed his love so generously and so beautifully in such a menschlich way, both with JNF, with Our Generation Speaks, with Heading Home, the program for the homeless that Josh and Nancy and their family has taken into their hearts and done such an amazing job for, and with the baseball team. And it's a giving heart that moves me to tears when I think of it. I feel very blessed to have a son who is such a giving person, who sees a need and steps in quietly and with dignity to meet that need, and Nancy and their children as well. So not only are you doing so many mitzvahs, but you are teaching them to your children, and they have taken on the same attitude: where I'm needed, I will go. So I'm very, very proud to be your mother and to have a son who is such a mensch and such a righteous person and contributing to the state of Israel and to the Jewish people and hopefully to peace. Congratulations. I love you, Josh.
I've seen over Josh's lifetime that he's always embraced his Jewish values. And always, as someone who feels fortunate, he's very much a believer in making the world a better place by giving back. In my experience, there are some people who just talk about their humanitarian values. But Josh is someone who actually lives his values, both in his commitment to Israel and to peace in the Middle East, as well as to the many domestic causes that he believes in as well. He's been to Israel and the West Bank several times, both with the former governor of Massachusetts, as well as with his family. He's been a serious supporter of the growing interest in baseball in Israel. He's been on the board and a very active and substantial financial supporter of Heading Home, which provides housing in the Boston area to low-income families. And he and his brother and sister owned the minor league baseball team, the Hartford Yard Goats, where Josh has been recognized for his community involvement and specifically his commitment to both African-American communities and Latino communities. Finally, Josh is a terrific husband. He's a loving father and the kind of son that any parent would be exceedingly proud of. I certainly am a parent who's exceedingly proud of Josh and love him very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this year's Jewish National Fund USA Tree of Life honoree, Josh Solomon.
Josh Solomon, my dear friend, it is with great pleasure that we give you this award today. You are the honoree Tree of Life recipient from the Jewish National Fund, and I want to present this to you. It reads, presented to Josh Solomon in recognition of your outstanding commitment to the New England community and the land and people of Israel. Josh, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Michael. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by saying what a great honor it is to be recognized by such a highly esteemed organization as the Jewish National Fund. I understand the significance of the Tree of Life Award and how few have been given out, which makes this recognition all the more special for me and my family. My connection with being Jewish is not one that started in Hebrew school, that's for certain, which is no surprise to my family as I was regularly getting in trouble for skipping. My connection began with my family, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, being together for holidays, cooking great meals. My first distinct memory of starting to understand what it meant to be Jewish happened while I was helping my grandmother make chicken soup in her apartment in New Haven. I was probably 8 or 9 years old, and she was explaining that when she was a young girl in what is current-day Poland, she'd help her mother make soup every Friday, just like we were making. But she explained they always made 2 pots of soup, never just one, which of course led me to ask, "Grandma, why always 2?" She said, one for our family and one for a family that had less than we did. She'd often say, "Josh, as a Jew, it's your responsibility to help those that have less than you." That conversation stuck in my head. And as I got older, I realized my grandma was introducing me to Tikkun Olam, the concept of making the world a better place. And that it isn't a choice, it's our responsibility as Jews. And believe me, if grandma said it was our responsibility, it was our responsibility. I was reminded of that responsibility at my daughter Mia's bat mitzvah this past fall. Her portion was the story of Cain and Abel, and she asked the age-old question, "Am I my brother's keeper?" Unlike Cain, Mia unequivocally answered, "Yes, we are all each other's keepers." The continued recognition of this critical responsibility in our family is one that I know my grandparents, who've long since passed, would be very proud, as well as my parents who are celebrating with me tonight. People often ask me why I support Israel, especially with what's going on now. As a free-thinking American and a Jew, I don't always agree with Israeli politics, but I always support Israel. As a matter of fact, I believe very strongly that the Palestinians deserve a home and a homeland, just as the Jews do. And I also believe that the disparity in wealth and influence between the Jews and Palestinians makes it all the more clear that, as my grandmother said, it isn't a choice. It's our responsibility to see that the Palestinians get a homeland, just as we did in 1948. The Israeli government needs to do more to ensure that this happens. Israel needs to be supported now more than ever. Just because we don't see eye to eye, that doesn't mean our support is less. This is the time to dig in. It's on us, Jews and non-Jews, to push for equality and peace. Israel is not only a home, but an insurance policy to which we can always make aliyah. But it's also America's closest ally in the world. As an American Jew, I can't think of a cause, a vision, a goal more suitable for my philanthropic efforts than a strong state of Israel. I am proud to support the Jewish National Fund because of the many wonderful things they do. As some of you know, some of my charitable dollars gifted to JNF help support the Israeli Olympic baseball team and Project Baseball, an initiative focused on teaching baseball and softball to Israeli youth. This is a result of my passion for baseball, as well as providing opportunities to underserved kids. Team Israel is currently making history by competing in the 2021 Tokyo Olympic Games and is the first Israeli national team to qualify for an Olympic team competition since 1976. This team is a team of destiny and is a familiar story of the Jewish people. The odds are always against us. In some way, somehow, we pull out these huge victories. I hope my involvement and support of JNF contributes to the continued success of Team Israel, but more importantly, to helping advance peace between Israel and its neighbors. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my family and friends and Michael, who've always supported me in my philanthropic work. And I'd also like to thank JNF for giving me such a special award.
Friends, member of the JNF USA Board of Directors, and all our guests and new supporters of Jewish National Fund, thank you for joining us tonight. Congratulations again to Josh, and thank you for all that you have done and continue to do. Josh, you are making the world a better place. I am pleased to share that the doors to the main room featuring this evening's entertainment are now open. We will now join together with the other JNF regions across the U.S. for our program, featuring Henry Winkler and Marley Matlin. Enjoy and have a great night.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just heard that the doors to the main room featuring this evening's entertainment are now open. In just a few minutes, we'll join thousands of other passionate supporters of Jewish National Fund USA in Israel. So sit back and relax as we virtually welcome you into the main room.